Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Awaken Your Truth conversations. My name is Denise from denisesimone.com, and today I am so excited because I'm talking to Carolyn Caputo. Carolyn is an intuitive energy healer and an alignment and self-mastery coach. She believes in a world of imagination, adventure, and simplicity, and she works with trailblazing entrepreneurs and visionaries with a desire to lose the excuses and break free of the hesitation and fear and share their message with confidence and clarity. She specializes in teaching you to shift from who you think you should be to who you really are. Hi, Carolyn.
Hey, I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much, Denise. These are awesome, first of all. I love the whole idea of this project that you've got, all these conversations. It's amazing.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. Well, I thought you were the perfect fit for these conversations because when you say here, um, you help people shift from who you think you are to who you really are.
Mm.
I want to really dig into that, and I want to kind of get into the nitty gritty of how we come into we come in thinking we're a certain way based on the conditioning of our environment,
Mm.
and so when people hear that, they might be a little confused or not really sure understanding what that is because, when we're all up here in our head, we are thinking and certain that we are this specific way of
Mm-hmm.
being. When in
Mm-hmm.
actuality, there's a whole truth to us that we haven't yet discovered,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So I want to take you back to your early experiences where you can explain the first part of that, of who you thought you were and kind of the feelings and the emotions that came up around that and how that was causing you to kind of navigate through life.
Hmm. Good question. So yeah, I always placed all these shoulds on myself, as all of us do. And I really thought life had to be a certain way. I thought you had to struggle and you had to work hard and you had to be a certain way to succeed. You had to do a certain, um, you had to be a certain way to, fit in and be part of I guess, I don't know, the cool girls club. I don't even know really. And so I kind of molded myself into, um, how I thought I should be. So like all the beliefs that I had throughout my life on, you know, you had to get a job and you had to work hard and you know, um I'm wondering if I should actually just sort of tell my story because this might just give a little bit of a glimpse into what you're talking about and then we can dive in from there because um it sort of describes a moment, like
Yes.
the moment that really changed my life for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go for
Okay.
it.
Yeah, because this is I get chills every time I talk about it. So
That means you're supposed to talk about
yeah.
it.
Right. Um so I was this is but let's just go back to like 1999 I think it was and I or 98 actually and I was working at a design firm. I was a graphic designer and art director and I was making really good money in my early 20s and I was in charge of a whole group of people. Had great room for advancement. I had advanced really fast in the company, and there was more room for an advancement. But I was like miserable, right? I was so miserable. I hated it. I was just like working 70 hours a week at times, and I hated it. And so I had before that, a few years before that, I had taken a road trip with some girlfriends, and I came out to Wyoming, and I found myself on the back of a Harley with some man that I didn't know. But it's actually he was a friend of a friend, so it wasn't like I just had picked up some random dude and was on the back of his Harley. And we were driving through Grand Teton National Park, and if you know anything about Grand Teton National Park in Yellowstone area, it is just amazingly beautiful. The mountains are just so majestic and they're just so surreal. Like, I mean, I've lived out here for so long and I still cry when I see them, you
Mm.
know? So I was on the back of this Harley and I was riding through, the park. And at one point I asked him, I leaned forward and I asked him how fast this thing could go. And in Wyoming, you don't have to wear a helmet. There's no helmet law. So I didn't have a helmet on. So I just had the wind in my face and the sun was beating on my skin. And he started to speed up. I let go of him. I put my head back and I just felt so free. Free in every sense of the word. Like nothing else mattered except for what mattered in that moment. Right? There was no chaos. There was no thinking I was supposed to be doing something, thinking I was supposed to be a certain way. I was just free. I
Mm.
was me,
Mm.
right? I was me enjoying that moment. And I was just me being so comfortable and in my own skin and in the moment. Right. And it, and that moment actually really changed and shifted the whole course of my entire life. But I went back to the rat maze after that, went back to Jersey because I'm originally from Jersey. And I was back in the corporate, working my butt off. And again, it was miserable. So I decided, my boyfriend had broken up with me at the time. We were dating for 5 years. It was a guy I thought I was going to marry. And I thought, I was like, you know what? I'm taking a leave of absence. So I just took a leave of absence from my job, drove across country again. First went to Mardi Gras, had to party a little. I was in my early 20s.
Of course.
I'm early 20s. I'm kind of a good girl now, but yeah, so I went across country again and I fell in love. And I was like, this is it. This is my home, right? And I was back in Wyoming. And so as soon as I got home, 3 weeks later, I packed up my stuff, quit my job, and I was back out here. And it was, I moved and I was like, thought I was going to like live the gypsy lifestyle for a while and be a nomad because I just wanted to like find myself, right? Find myself
Mm-hmm.
and find out what I was supposed to be doing with my life because I always knew that I was supposed to be called, I was called to do something, but I had no idea what because I was still up here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so I spent, I got a job in a bar, was doing freelance design work on the side, but during that time, I traveled the world, right? This was about 12 or 13 years I was doing this. I was traveling the world. I was immersing myself in every culture, going off the beaten path, taking up every sport you could, paragliding, rock climbing, river rafting. I mean, everything, you name it. And it was in those times that I was traveling, in those times of doing the adventures that I felt free, right? But it
Mm-hmm.
never really free like I had felt in that moment. And then in the times of stillness, I was still so lost and so confused and I just didn't know who I was, you know?
Yeah.
I was just searching for something. And when I decided, like, I was like, okay, this is enough. Like, I have to do something with my life. I called up my mom and told her that I was going to go to nursing school. Right. And everybody in my family is either like a nurse, a teacher, or a cop. And, I wasn't going to be a cop. We'll just say that. So I told her I was going to go to nursing school. And she was like, why? Why? I thought she was going to be so happy for me, but she was like, why? Why would you do that? You don't even take aspirin. You've never taken aspirin. And, you've always done and said things a little bit differently than the rest of us.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. Mom, I love you, Mom. And it was in that moment that
You were given permission.
she gave me the permission I needed to give myself. Right? I
What a
needed to give.
gift that is.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Sometimes it
And
takes
so,
somebody outside of us to
mhm.
see what we can't see. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. And it's funny how they say the universe transpires when you make that commitment or you find it or like you open yourself up more because literally the next day I was going into bartend at the job I was bartending at. And for some reason I checked my email that morning. I mean, I had no reason to really check my email often. I was a bartender. And I checked my email and I was sort of stalking this school. And there was a scholarship in my inbox for $500 off. If I registered that day, you could take another $500 off. So $1,000 off the tuition. And this was holistic health coaching. I actually started out as a holistic health practitioner.
Okay.
And I went to work, had somebody watch the front of the bar for me while I went in the back office and registered for school.
I love it.
Yeah. So it was just like that. And, and then it's just sort of been a journey since then. I've just been really more awakening my own intuitive powers that I always knew that I had as a kid.
Yes.
You
So
know,
I'm glad you went there because
yeah,
I do believe that it's actually my firm belief that we all come in knowing our truth, right? When we're children, we're free. We're just free
yeah,
to do and say and think our own thoughts, feel our own feelings. We're free with all of that. So the one common denominator in all of our journeys, because they do unfold differently, I believe all of our journeys are different to the coming back to our truth. But the forgetting of our truth is always because of some types of experiences that, happen to us. And they're different for all of us. But ultimately, they cause something within us to disconnect, to just come to this disconnection within our deep knowing.
right.
For you, what do you think that was that really took you off that path?
Yeah, there was a series of things actually. So my father left when I was a kid. Um, I was, I mean, I was pretty young, and I was really, really close with him. And so I think part of that also, well, actually, I know part of that was part of me really being afraid to be myself, right? Because as a kid, why would somebody leave me? So I started to formulate this belief that I had to be a certain way to be liked and loved, and if I was me, then I wouldn't be loved because my own dad couldn't love me,
Right.
And so from that belief, I started, I believed that I wasn't good enough, right? And I find everyone has three core main beliefs, and it's I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, and will I be accepted? And I was just not. I didn't think I was good enough, and I didn't think I would be accepted if I was really who I truly was because of that. And so things started to shift. I started to attract the wrong guys, and again, the belief just kind of solidified even more. So it just really escalated.
Yeah. Once we bring those beliefs to the light and we really can see them for what they are, do you think it's a journey of healing them in the moment by moment circumstances, of always being conscious of them and making choices that, are aligned to what we choose to believe? Or I guess what I'm really asking is your personal experience. How has the healing of those beliefs unfolded for you? That's my main question.
I think it's more of what you just said. It's choosing. It was getting to that spot where I knew that my life was now. Right? And I knew that I had this feeling inside of me that I wanted to, I wanted to help people. I didn't know how, I didn't know anything, but I knew that, like, that I didn't want to get to the end of my life not knowing that I had really followed who I was.
Yeah.
And allowed myself to be me. Right? I didn't want to, that's really what it was. It was like, not to be morbid, but it was like thinking about, yeah, my life is right now. Like, I don't want to get to the end. And it was really taking a lot of pain, not just being able to handle that pain so I can make that choice.
Yes.
Yeah. And just allowing myself to be in my own vulnerability as well.
Vulnerability is huge. Yeah. So tell me about vulnerability. How can that really, because when people hear that word, it could kind of bring up a lot of fear because we tend to think that vulnerability is weakness. But for you, from your perspective, how is vulnerability strength? How is that?
Yeah, it's like that Brene Brown quote. Yeah,
My favorite.
you cannot get to the to courage, or you cannot walk. I can't remember exactly what it is, but yeah.
Yes. But ultimately, vulnerability is strength, not weakness.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, for you, how do you show up as vulnerable in your life today? Whereas before, in the past, that would have frightened you.
Oh, I cry at like every chick flick possible now. I do. I used to never, actually, I was always like, I was such a tomboy, a big tomboy, because I didn't want, again, I wanted everybody to think I was so strong. And I didn't want to be, because as a kid, right, I had to be strong. I had to survive certain ways. My mom was raising three of us on her own.
Mm-hmm.
And my sisters were so much older than me. They were 6 and 8 years older than me. So I was like really on my own for quite a bit. And so I had to be strong, right? The strong. Like I couldn't be weak. I couldn't, because it protected me. It kept me safe being strong.
Mm-hmm.
And so now as an adult, that being strong that we say that we are, not letting our emotions shine through, or letting people see our weaknesses, that was just really keeping me stuck,
Yes.
because it was making me think I had to be a certain way. But when you can let your vulnerability out and really um, allow that to shine through, people see you for you,
Mm-hmm.
and they resonate with you. Right? Some people don't, and those people just go away, right? But the
That's right.
people the people that really see you, that's when you really develop those relationships. You develop your tribe, your connection, your sisterhood. You develop. I mean, I think the first guy that ever really let see me was my husband,
Mm-hmm.
and hence now he's my husband. And he's amazing.
Yeah.
And I mean, but if you ask him in the beginning when he would do certain nice things for me or something like that, I was like, why are you doing that? And, I didn't really let him see me
Yeah.
away.
So that was a great learning opportunity for you, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Would you say he's one of your biggest teachers in that regard of helping you to come
He's
come
probably my biggest teacher in regard to that, but also into regard of allowing help and allowing support in,
Yeah.
right? Knowing that I'm not alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So tell me how this whole story of your past has really influenced you and really kind of set the foundation for your work today and what you're doing in the world.
Yeah. So my main mission, my soul mission here, really is to eradicate the victim consciousness and help people feel alive and connected with the truth of who they are. And because of that, that is my why, my mission. That's me. That's why I'm here, right? And because of that, because of my story that came about, because I, this kind of goes back a little bit more into my story, but I played a victim, right? I played
Mm-hmm.
a victim to my circumstances. I didn't think I could do certain things. And like I talked about in my story, how I was searching for myself. I was searching to feel alive. Like I wanted
Mm-hmm.
to feel connected. And so every, freedom, it's like a big core value for me. And it's that internal and external freedom, all of it in every sense of the word. Because I played that victim. I didn't really feel alive in my own skin. I didn't feel connected to who I was. I didn't know who the hell I was, because I was so caught up on who I thought I should be
Mm.
in order to be loved and accepted and cared for. I thought I had to do the right thing, or else nobody would like me.
And that always backfires.
It always backfires. I've never been one for following the rules or doing the stereotypical
Me
way of
neither.
doing things. Yeah. And it's interesting. It's like we we strive so hard to be outside of the box,
Mm-hmm.
but we often put ourselves back in another box doing
Mm-hmm.
it. You know?
Yep.
Yeah. Because and that's really, Yeah. I mean,
No,
that's it in a
that's
nutshell, you know? I
yeah,
mean,
that's awesome. So really your work is to help specifically women to feel
mm,
the feelings that you craved, that you so craved when you were coming through your journey and growing up, feeling that rigid kind of suffocated feeling. You're
mm,
helping. You really want to serve people in feeling freedom, and I just love that because it really shows that there are no accidents. Like I don't really believe that
mm,
there's there is no randomness. You know, everything is perfectly aligned to bring
mm-hmm.
us to where we're supposed to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I absolutely would. And I would say for anyone who's watching this, and if you're like on that path or that question where you're saying you don't know what your purpose is or
Mm-hmm.
your mission is, you know, like first of all, I would say that your purpose is to be in that moment, to
Yes.
experience, you know, to experience whatever you can, to immerse yourself in cultures, to immerse yourself in the happenings that you are experiencing, right? Your purpose is to like show up every day as yourself, no matter what,
Mm-hmm.
right? And through the good and the not so good.
Yes.
It's your mission that comes out of those experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And so your mission, you know, look back at your life. Think of stories where that stand out for you. Think of how you felt. Think of what pissed you off. Think of what excites you, you
Yeah.
know, and
And I
and
love
in
that you
that,
say that because
yeah,
I think our anger, I think our anger is so beneficial sometimes because it could show us where our passion is,
mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, it fucking pisses me off when I see people playing a victim to their circumstance. It pisses me off till no less, to no end. And it's because I know what it feels like, but I also know because I was there and
Yep.
I got myself out of it. And so you can do that too. Yes, it's like what pisses you off, what angers you, and really what excites you too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
So tell me where those watching can find you. Where,
Yeah.
tell me all the places, all the juicy places you could be found.
I hang out at quite a few places, but you can find me and come hang out with the collective on the Freedom Junkie Collective on Facebook. That's my Facebook group over there. I constantly give tips on alignment and um, self mastery and just really coming back to that innocence of you. And my website is Unordinary Life. So Ordinary Life. So it's not ordinary, it's Unordinary Life. Some people are like, but it's Unordinary Life. And on Instagram too.
Okay.
Instagram, you can find me at Unordinary Adventure. So
Very cool.
yeah. And on my website over there and Instagram, you can find a meditation that's really going to help you expand and manifest and create what you want, right? Come back to that innocence of you.
Right.
So,
That's
yeah,
why we're here, right?
yeah, yeah.
That's why we're here. That's
It's about
awesome.
returning home.
Yes.
Mm,
Love it. This
yeah,
was so great. Thank you.
yeah.
Is there anything else you want to
Thank you,
share?
Denise.
Any last
Um,
tidbits before we close up? Anything you want to put out there?
yeah, I just want to tell people, you know, that it is your life, right? It's your life, so it should be your adventure. And it should be your business adventure too. Whatever path you want to go, if you have that feeling, trust it. You wouldn't have that feeling if you didn't have the ability to go after it. If you weren't going to be supported to go after it. And you might enter those dark nights of the soul,
Mm-hmm.
and that's okay.
That's okay.
That's okay. You know,
Mm-hmm.
learn from it. Don't try and hide it or block it out. Learn
Mm-hmm.
from it. And I know that on the other side of that is just some more magic
That's so
waiting to
true.
happen.
That's so
Yeah.
true. And just something I didn't ask you that I wanted to touch on was intuition.
Mm.
Because you said trust it. So what is it? Trust it. What? And I'm. It's intuition, really. Trust that intuitive hit that you're getting, right? So how
Yeah.
would you describe that? I know intuition's something that's really hard to describe, but
Oh, girl, we can go on for another 4 hours with that. Like, really? Do you want to get into that? But so
you know why I ask? Because I feel like, you know, there's people walking around going, not really sure because that voice can guide us in a direction that is so, to the logical mind is like saying screaming no, right? But our
Mm,
intuition is screaming yes, and it's very hard to follow that if we're not really in tune with it.
hmm.
So that's why I just like to bring it up. I think it's really important.
Okay, so which way do I want to go with this? There's so many ways to go, but I'll give a little tip here because
Yes, give a tip.
yeah, a little tip. So your intuition, right? We have our intuition, and then we have our ego-minded brain, our logical brain. So when you get a feeling, when you get an idea, when you get um, an inspired idea, right? Check in with yourself and see how it feels within your body. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes we get ideas that aren't really ours. They're molded from somewhere else, or we see somebody else have success at something, so we're like, oh, I can do that too, you know? So really check in with yourself. Feel in with yourself and see how it feels with your body. See if it feels aligned with you. See if it's like, sometimes there's always going to be a little bit of fear, right? So fear
Always.
never goes away,
Never.
right? So there's always going to be a little bit of fear, but check in with that fear and feel into it, and just, even putting your hands on your heart and taking some deep, big, expansive belly breaths.
Mm-hmm.
And if it feels like it's light and right, and expansive, that's your intuition. If it feels constricting, like tight, and you can tell the difference between the fear, right? If it feels more fearful, or you have your mind going, no, you should do this because it'll make sense if you do this because of this and this and this, right? That's the logical mind trying to rationalize
And
the decision
plan out
and
the
plan out.
future. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Intuition,
Whereas the intuition
would,
just is.
yeah. And would you say that it's not meant for you to know the whole picture, right? It's just
Yeah.
the intuitive guidance comes in steps where you can't see the bigger picture. And I think that's why a lot of people hold back, because their mind wants to be in control.
Yes. Oh my God, control. We could talk about that too. Yeah, control is, yeah, and that's our logical and our ego mind is telling us that we have to be in control. But when you can surrender that control and trust, you
Yes,
open the way up for so much more. And,
totally.
and one of the things with to allow that intuition to come through, when we have these like inspiration, we have these amazing ideas that we know we have, and our mind is like, we come up against obstacles and our mind's trying to figure out ways to get through it. Just even simply asking yourself, what else is it going to take?
Yeah,
Is opening yourself up to your inner wisdom to come through, right?
yeah,
So,
yeah.
just saying, hey, what else is it going to take? Instead of being like, oh, fuck, what am I going to do now? Like,
Mm,
like just
yeah.
mm-hmm.
Knowing that there's always an answer. There's always a solution.
Solution to every problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Thank you.
Actually have I have a meditation that's on my website that
Okay.
actually will take you through the path of um, basically manifestation and trusting your intuition that is aligned with you to create these big, bold ass, scary ass dreams that you have, or these ideas or these visions, right?
Yes.
So I have a meditation that actually goes through and will help ignite that intuition on my website. So you can find that on Ordinary Life as well too.
Okay. On ordinarylife.com.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. My
Was
pleasure to be here. This is so much fun.
This was wonderful, wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful. All
Thank
right.
you.
Have a beautiful day.
And I just want to say to everybody, it is
Yes.
your life, so make it your adventure.
Make it your adventure. Live your truth.
Yes.
Yes. Mwah.
Mwah. Bye.
Bye.